Finally, we have some football to talk about. Not quite pads hitting pads level of football as the Falcons enter OTAs and continue them throughout the rest of the month and into mandatory minicamp in June. But we're getting our first real glimpse and look at the 2024 Falcons. So, a lot of topics I want to get to on today's show. So let's start things off by talking about the $180 million quarterback Kirk Cousins and how he is looking so far in OTAs as he battles back from an Achilles injury. And all the reports coming out of Flowery Branches, Cousins and Pitts are developing a connection, and that is literal pornography. Ban it from YouTube for Falcons fans because the former first overall pick, Kyle Pitts, has been in a little bit of a slump since his rookie year, to say the least. But it seems like Kirk Cousins is going to be the guy that unlocks the unicorn and gets all of the great potential out of number 8. Raheem Morris has noticed this as well. When he was asked about Kyle Pitts, he said, "I see a young guy who is eager to learn. His why is really his personal vendetta to get back. You've got to have a little edge, and he's starting to show that more every day." I am drunk on the Kyle Pitts Kool-Aid. I am a full believer that Kirk Cousins is going to unlock and maximize Kyle Pitts. This is going to be one of those things where I stake my name on it, and if it doesn't work, I guess you guys are going to have to pick another punishment for me. But I'm a big believer that the Kirk Cousins and Kyle Pitts connection that we have been seeing through the first few days of OTAs and when the media is available and allowed to come to practices and you get those 15, 20-second clips on Twitter that just get you through the offseason, I'm buying the hype. Mark me down as a buyer when it comes to Pitts and Cousins going to new levels in 2024. Speaking of getting drunk, not so much on the Kool-Aid, but this time most likely alcohol, the Dallas Turner punishment. I just want to address this and update you guys. We talked about it on our live show last week, but I know not everyone is able to watch our live show. So I talked about it then, but I'll talk about it now. So the Dallas Turner punishment, which if you don't know, I said Dallas Turner is a Falcon. He was not a Falcon, of course. And I said if he's not a Falcon and the Falcons pass on him, I will do a drunk episode. So the target date for that drunk episode, which I think I'm going to make a live, that way it can be a little bit more interactive than just me filming myself for 15 minutes, just pounding Everclear, which I'm definitely not going to do that. I'm looking at a June 6th to 9th target range. I'm sorry for putting it off. I gave up drinking for like 5 weeks to lose weight before proposing to my girlfriend. And then I've got weddings coming up this weekend and then the following weekend. So I'm out of town those 2 weekends. So that's why it's gotten pushed back so far. But don't worry, I haven't forgot. I'm a man of my word. We will do a live Dallas Turner drunk episode punishment sometime between June 6th to 9th, that weekend I'm targeting. Now, before we get on to the rest of today's show, I was looking at the YouTube analytics as I do every night and every morning when I wake up. And the last video with 300 likes or less was May 14th. That's not great. We can do better than that. So let's end that streak today of not getting over 300 likes. Hit the thumbs up button down below and really appreciate all the support you show us here at Falcons Today. Now, speaking of Kirk Cousins, just as I was saying earlier, the overall vibe and sense from Flowery Branch is very positive. I mean, it's just non-contact, walk-through type of practices, 7-on-7 drills. It's hard to walk away from that feeling absolute about any player or anything you saw. But if you're looking for good news, you've come to the right place because the news is Kirk Cousins is making great strides. His passes look good. It's got zip. It's got touch. It's got velocity. Yes, it is going up against ghost defenders. There's no one out there. I mean, a lot of times he's just throwing to wide open receivers, but he's not doing it while standing still. He's got some mobility concerns, but it looks like it's getting better and better by the day. I mean, that's what Kirk Cousins himself said when he talked about his Achilles rehab, saying, "The Achilles is coming along well. They told me when I did it, they said it'd be 9 months, which will take me to August 1. I'm still kind of trying to close that gap there and get the final strength and mobility back, but we're making progress every day." So obviously, you'd love to have Kirk Cousins back sooner rather than later, but I do think it's really important for Kirk Cousins to be ready to go for the first day of training camp. New team, new everything across the board for Kirk Cousins, and a lot of newness for the remaining Falcons players, right? Kyle Pitts, Drake London. Think about your top 2 receivers. They have gone through a quarterback carousel trying to develop and, make some chemistry with Mariota, then Ritter, then Heineke. Like, that's not easy for receivers to do. And so it's really important for them to get a connection going with Kirk Cousins as soon as possible. So to get Cousins back for the start of training camp, which would be right around August 1, would be ideal. Also, I just want to add, as we talk a lot about Kirk Cousins, we did get a good glimpse of Michael Penix. He looked really good as well. Similar to Cousins, we're just kind of going off of, videos that are shared by the team and some of the local beat reporters, boots on the ground, and what they kind of saw. But the overall vibe coming from both Falcons quarterbacks are both guys looking really good. Cousins developing a nice connection with Kyle Pitts, and Penix developing a nice connection with day 3 pick Casey Washington out of Illinois. Now, next up on the show, I want to talk about Bijan Robinson and his injury update, as the star running back has not been available for the start of OTAs, and I'll share with you all everything I know so far. But first, if you want to up your Falcons wardrobe, go to chatsports.com/Falcons combo, and you'll get not 1, but 2 shirts on sale. So a 2-for-1 kind of combo deal where you're going to get 1 shirt and you get another shirt discounted, 25% off. So go to chatsports.com/Falcons combo. I put that link in the comments and description of today's video. Now, some background and context on Bijan Robinson. He is missing OTAs up to this point and is expected to miss more of the organized team activities due to an ankle injury he suffered at some point before OTAs. It hasn't been made exactly clear where or when or how he suffered this ankle injury, but the belief is he will be available for the mandatory minicamp portion, which is later on in June. That's when all the veterans are there, and if you're not there, you're getting fined, and that's where you see teams really start to deal with holdouts, although the Falcons don't have anyone in that situation. So the belief and expectation is he should be ready to go by minicamp, and then absolutely ready to go for the start of training camp. I think we can all agree. Let's just Amazon some Prime, some bubble wrap to 4400 Falcons Parkway in Flowery Branch. We don't need to see Bijan Robinson in OTAs. We don't need to push his ankle in May when all that matters is he is ready by September. I've got big belief and aspirations for the second-year man out of Texas. Finished last year with a little under 1,000 rushing yards, but also was able to tack on 487 receiving yards. We saw plenty of really big plays from the former first-round pick, so very excited for him in year 2. So let's just bubble wrap him until training camp and then the season. Other news tidbits coming out of Flowery Branch during OTAs. I want you all to meet your new cornerback too. It is Clark Phillips. It appears that he is the front runner for the starting cornerback job opposite of AJ Terrell, who, by the way, was also dealing with an injury during OTAs, and he was sidelined, but nothing to be alarmed about. But some background on Clark Phillips, the former day 3 pick out of Utah, appears to be in line for the starting CB2 job opposite of AJ Terrell. Raheem Morris is very upbeat about Phillips, saying, really excited about Clark. He has had elite movement put on tape. I'm really excited about the young man and the player on what he potentially can do. Now, we didn't see a whole lot of Clark Phillips last year. He was a healthy scratch for the first, about 2/3 of the season, give or take, contributing on special teams every so often. And then the last couple of games, he started over Jeff Okudah, and there were some good moments, and then there were some all right, that's a rookie looking like a rookie right there. But I am cautiously optimistic and excited for Clark Phillips. I have been advocating for this team to add another cornerback. I just feel like they are one injury away from 24 to having a bit of a crisis at a very important position. And maybe they could get away with that if they had a great pass rushing unit. But let's not joke or kid around here. The Falcons pass rushing unit is not going to be a top 10 unit in the NFL. So if the pass rushers can't get to the quarterback in time, then the DBs have to cover their man for a little bit longer, which is why I think they should look to add a veteran corner. But I am excited for Clark Phillips. I mean, that was a draft pick. Go back to last year's draft. I was very excited about. I remember doing a lot of mock drafts and draft target videos and looking at Clark Phillips earlier than round 4. So for the Falcons to find him in the 4th round of the draft, I felt like was a great steal and a great snag. And then last year, there were definitely some really good plays we saw from Phillips and, some not so good plays. But, man, if you wrote every single rookie off that had a bad game or a bad quarter, you'd have no one left after the rookie season. So I am officially cautiously excited and optimistic for Clark Phillips to be this team's starting CB2. Now, how would you grade the Falcons' defense? On a scale of 1 to 100, I'd probably give them a 79, right? There are a lot of pieces on this team that we are all hopeful that they take the next step. Like Zach Harrison, who, by the way, looks like he put on a good amount of weight in a good way this offseason, ready to bounce around the defensive line a little bit. But again, that's one of those guys that falls into the bucket of we haven't actually seen Zach Harrison be a dominant pass rusher, but we're optimistic that he could become one. Same goes for like a rookie like Braylon Trice, and hopeful that Grady Jarrett bounces back from the ACL tear okay. So there's a lot of really exciting stuff. Little foreshadowing for tomorrow's video, Jesse Bates spoke to the media. He said that the Falcons have a plan at pass rusher, and he kind of expects Terry Fontenot to maybe make another addition or two. So we'll unpack what Jesse Bates said to the media on tomorrow's episode because it definitely had some juicy quotes in it. Other just news to get to, the Falcons and Dolphins are doing another joint practice August 6th through 7th. So yet again, these two teams are facing in the preseason, and they're going to have joint practices leading up to it. So that's all we've learned from the Falcons OTAs practice today. As we get more information, we'll keep you informed here at Falcons Today. So go ahead and subscribe to unlock the best free Falcons content.